Welcome to another episode of the Hip Hop Uncensored podcast. I'm your brother, Oh God, from Hip Hop News Uncensored. And sitting across from me is my co-host.
What up, y'all? It's your man Sam, and CEO of Viral Hip Hop News, and you're in the building for a very special edition of the Hip Hop Uncensored podcast. We got a special guest in the building. Good brother Cowboy has joined us on the podcast. What's going on with your family?
What up, G? I'm good.
Good, brother. Big day for everybody out there on the West Coast. Big day for hip hop, man. I'm sure a big day for you. So let's just get right to it, man. How you feeling? The verdict is in. For the people who don't know, Eric Holder has been found guilty of first-degree murder in the murder of the late, great Nipsey Hussle. And we are on with one of Nipsey's right-hand man, Cowboy, man. So how are you feeling? You've been in that courtroom day in and day out dealing with the stress of dealing with the courtroom and shit and all this that's going on, man. So how you feeling hearing the verdict?
I mean, I really wasn't never really in it for, getting him some time. He was already guilty. We all knew that, so I was never in it for the time. It was more or less to clear up the conversation. Like I said, I know, bro. I know he didn't kill him behind the conversation. So, I'm still, curious to why. You know what I mean? Was it just hate? Was it just jealousy? So the verdict, it's a little closure, but it's still the book is still open for me. It's not closed yet, because I heard the conversation, and I still need to really know why. It was just, was you just hating? What was it? So it was real emotional for me. Just the fact that it's over. I knew the trial was coming up, and I thought emotionally I could deal with it, but it kind of broke me down all over again, reliving it all over once again, having to go look at those tapes that I never looked at, and now I want to review those tapes. I'm looking at, the more I look at this shit, the more I see different information, different stuff that they didn't pick up on and different things. I'm just going on with my own investigation, Yeah, because like I said, I heard the conversation, and I know 100% for a fact that he didn't kill him behind that conversation. So it's still some in the air with me, So that's my with it.
For the people who because it's a lot of conflicting stories. I watched the whole, most of the trial, whatever they showed on YouTube, and one side was saying that this was said, and one side was saying something else was said. Can you take us back to what you actually heard that day? What was actually said?
Well, the thing is, I was there the whole conversation. Anybody else, that the girl that had something to say, I think she was there 33 seconds, 31 seconds. I forget what they said. But by the time she even approached, that conversation was over. The conversation about any type of paperwork was already done with before she even got on the scene. You know what I mean? He already got his, did the food thing, shook our hands. That was his second trip back when the broad jumped out the car and all that old shit. So I know what I heard, you know what I mean? And I know he never said the word snitch, never called him a snitch. He was more or less like a friend he ain't seen in a while. Like my friends calling me now, like, hey bro, you all right, everything cool, people's talking, you know what I mean? Same thing. So I'm not gonna go shoot somebody that's telling me people's talking about Cowboy right now. I'll be shooting niggas all day, you know what I mean? So that wasn't, the conversation never got heated. Like I said, me and Nipsey, we were animated. You know what I mean? If we get upset, you're gonna know. You're gonna see some hand signals. You can look at the tape and tell that it was just a general conversation amongst homies. And then he moved on to the next fan or whoever else stepped up. As a he gave him his little 2 minutes of time, little minute and 30 seconds of nip time. Then he moved on to the next fan, to the next person, to the next person. You know what I mean?
So did they know each? They grow up together, Nipsey and Eric Holder? That was one of the rumors that we heard.
Yeah, they from the same hood. We all from the same hood. I done watched them all. When I was on cocaine, he was one of the youngsters used to be serving at one of the spots and shit like that. But as far as running in the same circle, no, they really wasn't in the same circle. You know what I mean? But they're like in the same age, same generation. I'm a lot older. So, I came home from prison. All my friends were still in prison. So I attached to the little youngsters, and I didn't want them to go to prison. So yeah, like I said, Nip was one of the ones. You had certain homies that might be selling drugs. That's what they did. Other homies might sell weed or whatever they hustle is. Everybody got a hustle. when I met Nip and them, the hustle was the CDs and stuff like that. So I jumped into that hustle with them. You know what I mean?
What's your gut telling you, Cowboy? Because obviously you say you want to know, like, why, the why, and that's a big question that everybody wants to know. But you were sitting there front and center, and you heard the conversation, everything. It didn't seem like it was going toward that direction. You know, after seeing the footage and kind of getting a little bit of more of an understanding of what happened that day, what's your gut telling you on why he did what he did?
Well, it's boiling down. So we know the conversation. I can X that out. We know for sure no conversation. So now, me going to that courtroom, it was a couple other people that had came, but they never got on the stand. You know, a couple friends of Nipsey's that I known from day one. One of my partners that introduced me to Nipsey. You know, he so happened to pop up, and we just casually talking, and he telling me about how the fool popped up on him like 2 days prior to what he did to Nip. And when he jumped out, he was talking about the CD. And he said he felt if he didn't listen to that nigga CD, that this nigga was gonna do something. He said the nigga had 2 pistols with him. So he said he listened to the nigga CD. You know what I mean? So now that's a scenario because the nigga did mention the CD to us. So that's one, that's more believable than the conversation. So we could say that's one possibility. Uh uh when his broad came and took a flick with him, maybe the bitch went around the corner and was, you know, bragging to her friend, and you know, he got upset, said, fuck that nigga, and did, you know, that's more believable. But I know for sure it wasn't the conversation. So if somebody paid him to do it, you would think he would try to get away. You went around the corner to put on a shirt, you would put a beanie on your head, you would cover up if you was trying to get, if you was getting paid. Somebody put you up to it. So I X'd that out. So the only thing I can see is either that CD bullshit or the bitch ticked him off and he got jealous. So, or it could have been some other underlying hate. But like I said, I know it wasn't a conversation, but I can fathom those thoughts. I can entertain the fact that maybe the bitch pissed him off, or maybe we didn't listen to his CD. I can entertain those thoughts. I can't entertain the conversation because I heard it, you know. So
Do you think
that's where I'm at.
Do you think dude was in his right mind? And I don't mean to absolve him for anything he did because he did what he did. Do you think he was on drugs or anything like that that kind of had him tripping on another level? Yeah.
Flying saucer. Hey man, I done did every drug on earth, my guy. You feel me? You can't pull a fast one on me. Yeah. You know, if they wanted to come with an approach, that should have been their approach. They approached this all the way wrong. They approached it wrong, and they shouldn't have tried to smut my guy name saying that he called him a snitch. If they would have came with the right approach, I wouldn't have had nothing to say. I would have never got to stand. I would have never done nothing. You know, but when they put the scenario that bro called him a snitch, and I know I heard he did, he said, fuck that, I'm gonna ride, I'm gonna go against the grain, I'm gonna do whatever I gotta do to prove that point. You know, so yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah.
How did the conversation end that day? Because it looked like from the video that it ended, and I mean the conversation between everybody standing there, Nipsey and all of them. How did it end that day between him and Eric?
It ended with a handshake. It started with a handshake and it ended with a handshake. You feel me? If it would have got heated, it would have ended with me snatching him out the parking lot, and he would have been trying to gun me down. Like I said, if Nip would have raised his voice or had any inkling of anything, I would have escorted him out the parking lot. As simple as that. That's what I've done it many a time. But a belligerent tourist coming there and he drunk, I'm saying, hey, come on, bro, you gotta go. You know, if Nip don't want you in his presence, I'm gonna make sure you're out of there. So yeah, I never got that feeling. The conversation never took it there to the point where I want to remove this nigga away from Nip. You know what I mean? It was never no threat. I never felt no threatening conversation.
Looking back at it now, do you regret going into the store the time that you did?
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah. It's like my grandma said, you know, it was part of God's plan that I could have did. You know, like damn, I left for that split time, and even then, you know, it had when I ran out of the store, when I'm in the break room and I hear the gunshots, I break wide straight out there because I know Nip is out there, so I don't see what's going on. So when I go out there, you got to realize everybody laying down, parking lot, everybody running, scattering. I see bro on the ground, so I run straight to bro. But now, if I could hit that window and I could actually see the shooter, And if I could see the shooter, I'm not gonna run the Nip. I'm gonna run to the shooter because I'm gonna think he's out of bullets. You understand? Because he already did what he had to do. So I never get a chance to see the shooter. If I could see the shooter, so when I run out, I see Eric in the parking lot running, but I don't know he the shooter. You understand what I'm saying? Because I'm running out and it's a parking lot and everybody's scattering. You understand what I'm saying? So man, it's like if I could have seen him actually shooting, bro, I could have ran straight at him instead of running straight to, you know what I mean? Because if you look at the tape, as soon as I'm getting the bro, that nigga just barely turned that corner. But had I seen him, I could have ran straight to that nigga because he jogged through that alley. And I could have been running his ass down before he got to the bitch car because the bitch was trying to pull off. You feel me? So, like I said, at least if I wish I could have seen it, if I could have seen it, I could have known who to run after. You know what I mean? But when I hit the parking lot, everybody scattering and bro on the ground. You feel me? So I run straight to bro. You know.
Right. Now, how do you feel? Because a lot of people still keep trying to say, and it's foolish in our opinion. We did a video, we talked about, you, but people say, it was Big U, it was Cowboy. They had to have something to do with it. It looked like he's lying on the video. I know you probably seen some of those comments. What do you say to that?
Yeah. Well, I know Big U, the big homie. Nip had love for you. Big U loved Nip. You know what I mean? So certain things unquestionable. I could never question. Nobody would benefit. Big U wouldn't benefit off of Nip. Big U got his own niche. Big U been had his niche. Like I said, Big U been having money. Big U was the plug. Big U was plugging us. You know what I mean? Big U was the man with all the connects. You know what I mean? He was the ones that to connect to Steve LaBelle, to connect to all these different artists, that connects to Snoop and the connects. You know what I mean? So Big U never necessarily needed us. For nothing. You know what I mean? He was good where he was at. So It wasn't no benefit thing. They had a falling out over business. They squabbled up, and they was the best of friends after that. You know what I mean? Because Nip stood on this grown man shit.
Talk about. Did you have a conversation with Black Sam? There were videos going around of him giving Nip chest palpitations, waiting for the ambulance. So obviously he was there. Did you guys cross paths to say anything that day? And if so, what was your discussion like? If you can just share it.
Well, it really wasn't a discussion. When he pulled up, I was praying for Nip, and I was holding over the bullet hole. I was covering. He had a bullet hole. I was covering two holes, and talking and praying to him. Then Sam pulled up, jump out. He got there pretty fast, jumped out, and started doing CPR. But at the time, Nip was still breathing, though. Nip was still breathing, but he was still, keeping him going and talking to him and just doing the count till the ambulance came. It really wasn't a conversation. I know he had threw me the keys, the Nip truck, and I threw the keys to the bodyguard, and they all smashed out to the hospital, and I took care of the perimeter, the store. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Now, there's a lot of rumors going around that you and the family don't get along. I mean, obviously, people run with that narrative when they hear that you didn't speak to him or you haven't spoken to him since and things like that. Where do you stand with his family? I know you were cool with Nip, and Nip was your man. You said that the last interview. But how was your relationship with the family? Are you guys cool, or do they kind of look at you different because of what happened? Like, how was your relationship?
It's all love with me and the family. Me, Pops, all them, it's all love. Everybody grieved differently. Nip was my man. Nip was my little bro. Nip was like a dad to me. He was everything. Me and Nip relationship, is you can't explain our relationship. The relationship with me and Black Sam, he was more or less my boss. We never really developed that bond, you know what I mean? That friendship, you know what I mean? So he was just always my boss. I did what was needed to be done for the team. As far as us having any hard feelings with each other, none that I know of, you know what I mean? As far basically after the funeral, most of the team went back to work and did what they had to do. I would imagine your brother's banging the hood, and all, you don't really want your brother doing that stuff. Then ultimately somebody from over there took your brother's life. So I couldn't imagine if that was my brother, how I would be feeling towards the hood. But even though it was only one individual that did that, I still, I kind of got the feeling like if you still fucking with them niggas over there, hey, we gonna do our thing over here. You know what I mean? But I felt my job wasn't done over in the hood. I still think it's still some more people I could save. And Yeah, and like I said, I did everything for Nip and Nip only. I mean, I did it all for Nip. I didn't do it for nobody else. So, when Nip was the glue to a lot of stuff. So even people in his squad that I may not have seen eye to eye with, we got along on the simple fact of Nip. But now Nip not here. There's no need for us to be hanging out and chilling with each other because it's really we're really, they don't know my beer is Modelo. They don't know my favorite color green, shit that Nip knew, you know, uh, like we was up right before Nip passed. He called me in to do a song with him. So I went in and did a song. So I'm working on my verse and I'm rushing through the verse and I'm rushing it, but I can't hear what's going on in the sound booth behind me. So but they about to punch in and tell me to do something. Black Sam or somebody about to punch in and be like, "Hey, slow it down" or whatever. But then Nip was like, "Hold up, hold up, hold up." He always start like that, Then the next take, I did it right, and then they was like, "Damn, how did you know that?" But it's just certain things about Nip he knew about me that nobody knew. We did things together that probably him and his brother never did. When he was out in the streets, I was that big homie that came and we was together. When he wasn't from the hood, I came and put him under my wing. So we had a relationship that was beyond, even a brother relationship. But as far as me and the family, oh yeah, man, I love the fam. Yeah, ain't nothing changed on my end. I'm still a team player. Anything they need from me, they know I got their back. Ain't nothing changed. I got their back 100%. But uh, that they grieve. They might be grieving differently. Cause I know how I feel. My whole heart tore out. So I couldn't imagine Sam, mom, granny, the kids. I couldn't even imagine it. I couldn't imagine them going through what I went through at that courtroom. Just all the emotions I went through. So yeah, it's big. It hurts me so much. So I couldn't even imagine how the family feels over this situation. So.
For sure, for sure. Now, a lot of people talk about other cameras or camera angles at the marathon store. Were there any other angles that you guys had that we probably didn't see?
Well, there's
Yeah.
there's a bunch of angles. The whole store is filled with cameras, but you got to realize we didn't have cameras in the stores to record employees stealing stuff and stuff like that. So you basically had cameras just to look out in the parking lot, just to make sure no funny business was rolling up, like police or whatever may be rolling up. You know what I mean? Just like, oh, the homies out there too deep. Oh yeah, go tell them to clear out. So. And if something happens in the neighborhood, say it's a car accident, the police roll up. What they gonna say? Oh, well, let's look at the tape. So we never had recording tapes, even though we had, cameras up. They never recorded, because
Mm,
anything happening on that corner, the first thing they're gonna say, let's look at the tapes. You know what I mean? So you never know
gotcha.
when somebody do something stupid, a homie do something stupid in the parking lot. We gotta take him in the alley, put hands on him, send him about his way. So you don't necessarily need all that on tape. You know what I mean? So, but like I said, Master Burgers wasn't a part of us, so that's why they tape was running and the gas station tape was running. But
Mm,
no matter how many camera angles was running and was recording that day, it wouldn't have never stopped nothing. All it would have did was gave you a better version of what happened. You would have just seen you know
mm.
what I mean? It wouldn't have changed nothing. You would have just seen a clearer version. You would have just, you know what I mean? So uh the one that they showed in the courtroom, that was the clearest version I ever seen.
Now, one of the running narratives also is that the LAPD had involvement or had something to do with this situation. They had more than what meets the eye. And we've even had conversation about that as the trial went along while we were trying to unravel the why the LAPD came up in conversation. Do you think that the LAPD would have had something to do with this, or do you think this was a rogue situation with a man that just did what he did on his own accord?
Yeah, it was just one dumb nigga did one dumb incident, that's not the first one. You know what I mean? It's been multiple ones after them. You know what I mean? Even in the same parking lot. I've seen so much death after them, prior to them, yeah, it's a regular. It just it's a lot of people y'all didn't hear about that died the same way. Uh and Yeah, but like I said, Nip was big, so the world heard about that. But I may have lost maybe 7, 8, maybe 9 homies that I love just as much as Nip, and I've lost them in the last couple of years.
Damn, sorry to hear that.
Right now,
Yeah.
during the trial, you had a lot of people. I think even Whack 100, a lot of people calling you. They said you was a rat, you was a snitch. you know, for taking a stand? Because you know the other guys, you know, I forget the guy's names. The other two guys that were shot didn't take the stand. How do you feel about that still at this point in time? People calling you a rat and a snitch for getting on the stand and telling what you seen.
Well, it really wasn't about what I seen. It was about what I heard. You know what I mean? So I didn't see nothing. I wasn't an eyewitness. I wasn't. I was a character witness. You know what I mean? I didn't give them no information that they seen the tape. They seen the murder. He pled guilty to the murder. Everything was there. You know what I mean? My thing is, he never called him a snitch. Had y'all not brought that narrative in, I would have never got on the stand. I would have never, you know, I had to clear that up, you know. And I knew what I was doing was gonna be controversial, but uh, you know, if you don't like what I did, don't do no crimes with me. Easy call. Uh, did I tell on a gang and 30 niggas is in jail fighting life? And no, you know what I mean? So every it's a consequences to everything you do. So if you feel in a certain way, what rule did I break and what's the consequences? Is it just a fade? Or did I tell on Eric Horter now I should die? You know what I mean? There's rules to this shit. You know, had he just shot Nipsey in the leg, he wouldn't be getting first degree murder. You know, it's rules to everything. So if I broke a rule, what's the charge? What's the consequence? And I can handle that and move forward. You know what I mean? So whatever the street code is, if they felt I broke it, it's still a consequence. And you know, what is it? Is it a death consequence? No. You know what I mean? But you know, I'm doing what's right. You know, the street code is watered down. You know what I mean? They pick and choose. You know what I mean? They pick and choose who they want to politic. You know, if I was a little shorter in my arms, you know, they'd have been beat my ass and ran me out of here. You know, a lot of motherfuckers never liked me, but you know, my hands work, and you know, so far I've been winning. So, you know, you ain't gotta like me, but you gonna respect me, and I'm gonna stand on what I stand on, and whatever consequence come with it, I know I'm doing the right thing. You know what I mean? I see niggas die for the wrong thing. I'd rather die for the right thing.
So. Let me ask you this. Because like you've alluded to many times, you didn't see it. You just heard the conversation, and that's why you went on the stand. And we talked about that as well. Had you did see it, would that have changed your thoughts on getting on the stand, or your how would that have changed your mindset?
Well, if I seen it, I wouldn't have been by the code. I know for sure I couldn't have got on the stand.
Yeah,
I wouldn't have been able to for sure. You know what I mean? I knew what I was doing was like a borderline. It was like a wobbler. You know what I mean? I knew it was gonna be some controversy, but I knew it wasn't. I knew it wasn't no major violation. It's kind of like an infraction. It's like some smut on my jacket. You know what I mean? You know, I got a gang banging. Nobody. Only thing they could put on my jacket is just that I smoked dope before, and now the next smut on my jacket is I got this that that I told on somebody, whatever it may be. But you know, I don't care about that code. You know, I'm out here in the streets, so the niggas that's really out here in the streets, the niggas that the movers and shakers in the city, the Bloods, the Crips, the Swans, everybody that I run into is nothing but love. So that's all that count. You know what I mean? When I'm out here maneuvering by myself on the bus, walking, just to show motherfuckers like I know I'm standing for what's right. Every nigga from every hood is tired of this bullshit. When we start killing each other, they looking at what I did. You throwing what I did like worse than what he did. He killed the homie in cold blood for no motherfucking reason. But y'all gonna overlook that just because I set my ass on the stand and told about a conversation that bro never called him a snitch, and that's that. I didn't point the finger and say he killed cuz, he did that, and he ran there. I didn't do none of that. Feel me? I said, bro never called him no snitch, and I stood on that, and that's that. If you're gonna label me a snitch for doing that, I gotta put that on my jacket and I'm gonna ride with it. You feel me? But you doing it with the Twitter fingers, come talk to me in my face. Every nigga when I ran in the whack, you know what I mean? Hey, we took a picture and all that other shit, but if I'm all this big old snitch and you popping off, you popping, I ain't about to take no pictures with no nigga that I think is foul. I mean, this, you know, this shit just it's like this social media. It just clickbait. They just want to get their little clicks and make the little dollars. I ain't mad at them, but I just don't want it done at my homeboy's expense. You know what I mean? And I think even Wack understood that. Like I said, we had a grown man conversation. It was respectful. So like I said, I don't want to get into the hype. I don't want to be beefing with another businessman, and we out here in the streets fighting it out. You know, We both businessmen. We could resolve it in the ring, get some money, or we could talk about it. And everybody entitled to their opinion. So, I ain't mad at that. But just keep your opinion about Nipsey Hussle. Talk about his accomplishments. Quit talking about the bullshit and trying to dig up shit.
Yeah.
Let my little homie rest. I'm not digging up nobody else's dead homies, putting smut on them. You never seen me address no other issue but my issue. I'm not addressing nobody's issues, but just anything concerning my dead homie. That's it. I'm not addressing nothing else. I don't care what they call me. None of that. That don't concern me.
Right. So were you actually in the courtroom when they read the verdict today? And if you were, which I'm sure you were, how was the atmosphere and how'd you feel when the verdict first came down? Like, can you go back to that for us?
Actually, when it first came down, I had just heard about it, so I was on my way up there. So right when I was getting up in there, they was basically coming out, or they was coming out saying that the verdict or whatever. I don't know. It just hurt. Broke me down in tears. Like, it still ain't no clarity. Him getting some time ain't no satisfaction for me. Him getting that black eye, that was cool. I enjoy seeing that. That was worth going to the trial just to sit across and look at him and just kind of look at the coward that he is, and and he wasn't looking at me and shit. He want to look down at the floor. So I got some good shit. I got to throw some comments at him. I want to a couple times I probably could have got at him. It crossed my mind. I was thinking about my kids, thinking about my responsibilities. And I didn't want this one nigga to ruin two niggas' lives. I go over that counter and put hands on him. He done. So it was good because I was contemplating getting this dumbass, and he showed up with that black eye. I walked in the courtroom as soon as I seen that shit. I said, "Damn, the nigga shit swole up." So, I don't even wish death on that nigga. I want the nigga to suffer though. That's all. I want the nigga to sit in that cell and suffer, and just he got a lot of time to think about it. I've been in them cells. I got a lot of homies that's still in them cells. So you don't wish that on nobody, but that nigga deserve everything he get.
Right.
And that is what it is.
Now, did they tell you not to do interviews? Because I seen that they were watching you very hard during this trial. They're watching your Instagram, they're watching your interviews, and they tried to like pull up contradictions and different things that you said. Did anybody advise you not to do interviews during this trial?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But it's no information. Like I said, it's no information I got. I'm not one of them witnesses. I'm gonna keep standing on that one fact of what I heard. I heard the conversation. And the nature of that conversation, he didn't kill bro behind that conversation. So still back to my question, why? Once again, why? So I don't care. I don't care what nobody think about me. I'm still trying to figure out, nigga, why? Shit.
Do you think the young lady driving had anything more to do with it than what they're speculating? It took a while even to speak to her. They didn't bring her into custody for a while, and then I believe she said gave her testimony. Do you think that she knows more than what she's giving off?
Well, hey, you know how to cut the speaker up a little louder. Hey, but what's so crazy? I never looked at that tape though. I never looked at that. I never had looked at the. I never had looked at the actual tape, but then during the trial when they started showing it a few times, so I noticed they pulled up. The dummy jumped out, but then when they jumped out, I noticed the bitch took her car and busted a U-turn and repositioned the motherfucker. That's another thing I observed that I don't think nobody observed.
Yeah.
And it was turned the other way. So then cuz talking to us or whatever, go back to the burger, the bitch do whatever she gotta do. But by the time you go back and get the burger, she done pulled up and parked. You know what I mean? So then I'm like, as I looked at it like that, this bitch show us kind of positioning his car. Then one other thing, when that bitch jumped out with that motherfucker take that selfie, that bitch had that backpack. What the fuck was in that backpack? I just seen that. What the fuck did that wasn't no purse. That's a big ass motherfucking backpack. So I don't know. I can't say. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. but my antennas was up a little bit, but I don't know. You know, like I said, I'm gonna get a hold of everything. I'm gonna analyze it myself, and yeah, I'm still wondering why. Yeah, maybe he had a conversation with the bitch and she ticked him off. I don't know. You know what I mean? I'm not necessarily wanting to put the blame on her for his actions or whatever. You know what I mean? No matter if the bitch pissed him off or not, he wasn't supposed to do what he did. You know what I mean? So I'm not by no means placing no blame, but I would like to have a conversation with her and just kind of, you know, maybe get some clarity on what happened down the alley. And she was about to drive off. I know that. So I wouldn't mind having a conversation. But like I said, I don't necessarily blame her for the actions though.
Right. Do you see Eric Holder surviving in the LA prison system? Because we know it's heavily gang populated, and we can only imagine people are probably waiting for this dude now. Do you think he even survives to serve a life sentence?
Never. But the system, the system, used to have like A, B, C, and D yard, then would be like the good yards, like, A, B, C. Then maybe the D yard might be a bad yard where they do all the little punks, the homosexuals, the PCs, and dumb shit like that. Mm-hmm. So nowadays, the A, B, C yard is the PCs and all the punks, and you got maybe like one good yard or just a solid, niggas that's sticking to the codes. So now they gonna throw them in there with the PCs, and the PCs is the majority. You know what I mean? So it's everybody, all them yards is protective custody motherfuckers. So, so yeah, he on a roller coaster.
Yeah. Do you think you'll ever get that why? We didn't hear from in the trial. I guess that was planned and premeditated, but obviously we've seen people from jail have comments throughout the years before. Do you think that you'll ever get that why that you're looking for?
If I don't get that why, 50 years from now, when that nigga go up to his appeal, nigga, I'm gonna pull up in a wheelchair, nigga, and I'm gonna say why, nigga. You feel me? So yeah, I'm gonna get that why, nigga, before that nigga die. But yeah. It's sad. It's sad, yeah, I don't see him. Yeah. Right now, it's somebody that got life right now. They sitting on their bunk and they listening to that nip every morning. Mm-hmm. They motivated. They listening to that nip every day. They gonna wake up one morning, they gonna look next door and they gonna see that nigga. They gonna get on their knees and say, "Thank you, God, my prayers have been answered." And it's gonna be a sad day. But yeah, you get them how you play them though. You did a foul act, so whatever happened to you, you on your own. You get it how you play, you get what you get,
Yeah, I know in the beginning when we first talked, the first time I interviewed you, you kind of downplayed the significance of your testimony, but now looking at it, it seems like your testimony was big because it kind of
yeah.
Right.
So talk about that. Everything.
Right.
Hindsight, everything is big. It's big because they was relying on that conversation. So yeah, that made it big. That made me the whole case for sure. That made it big. You know what I mean? Because that was the only thing they were relying on. So if they would have relied on something else, like I said, if they would have relied on the female said whoop whoop and said that's something I couldn't say nothing. But when they talked about that conversation, then I automatically said I was gonna do whatever, to make sure it's clear that, bro never said that. So had he said it, I would say, yeah, bro did this, and I would say that, but bro never did that. So yeah, I was real big. I was way, I was on the stand more than that nigga. You know what I mean? They show more shit of me than they were showing my Instagrams and this. Then the prosecutor called me up. Then Eric's folks called me up. Just to basically throw me under the bus. You know what I mean? So
talk about that. Talk about being cross-examined by the defense attorney. How was that? And what they try to trip you up on, if you can remember?
Yeah, I mean, you can't trip up the truth or whatever, but basically the last thing he did, he just wanted to paint a jury that I was a bad guy. So basically he just got up there and said, "Oh yeah, he's this, he's that, and just left it hanging. Give me a bunch of yes or no questions. Have you ever been convicted of this? Yes. Have you heard this? Yes. Have you heard this? Yes. All right, that's enough. You know what I mean? Basically just threw me under the bus. You know what I mean? So
right.
Man, oh man. Let me ask you this. Let's say you don't get on the stand and the defense runs with that narrative that he did call him a snitch. Do you think him calling him a snitch would have got him a lesser charge? It looks like that's what they were moving toward.
Nah, it wouldn't. it wouldn't have got him a lesser charge because they was gonna stick him anyway because the too much time had passed. The crime had passed. Now, if he walked right up and they had a conversation, he whipped the Billy out his pocket and bust on Cuz right then and there. Yeah,
Right.
he had action.
Exactly.
But going around the corner, eating your fries, coming on back, changing shirts, no. So
Right.
that didn't matter. They was gonna book him. He had a raggedy ass team. They all had wrinkled suits. Every day they was switching suits and shit. The nigga team showed up the second day of trial. This nigga had on a leisure suit. That motherfucker was wrinkled as a bitch. I bagged on that nigga suit, so he had it out for me anyway. You know what I mean? So his whole defense was garbage anyway. You know, nobody wanted to defend him anyway. But at the same token, them niggas was garbage. The one nigga that sat next to him, he was the smartest nigga because he didn't say a word. The other dummy, you know, I guess somebody had to do the job though.
Yeah.
Somebody had to do it.
So what's next for you, man? Obviously, I guess it's like a bit of a closure, but not truly a complete closure. What's next for you, man? Moving forward with your life.
Really, I'm just working on my businesses. I'm gonna get this little podcast going on that way I can control my own narrative. You know, everybody don't, you know, everybody take my little pictures and they put their own narrative on it. So I really want to just have a platform where we can just talk about some positive stuff, talk about some change though. I'm just tired of listening about the negative everything. You know, why can't we use this platform? What we gonna do to change this shit though? You know, we had a good thing going with Nip. The whole hood was thriving, you know. What we gonna do to stop this senseless stuff? You know, Tupac, Biggie, you know, it just goes on and on and on and on. You know what I mean? Draco, come on, man, what the fuck? You know what I mean? It's a bigger picture, you know, as a society, how we can't get along with each other. That one person get out the bucket, you either gonna kill him or you try to drag him back down. You know, I use Nip. Everything he did, I lived my dreams through Nip. When he did something, when he got a fresh car, he was driving a 2000 something, I don't know, Benz. I was so happy to have my 98, nigga, 420 or some shit, nigga. I'm like, Nip got me a foreign whip, nigga. You know what I mean? He made me want to step my game up. He didn't want me to hate, you know what I mean? So I don't know, this generation want to hate instead of, you know, you see somebody doing good, you know, ask them what did they did to get on good and how can you get on, you know, don't envy it, don't hate it, you know. A lot of motherfuckers envy and hate what I got going on, but you had enough sense, you try to come tap in and fuck with me and make some bread and, you know, I'm information. I could, you know, I could show you a whole lot of shit, you know, but it is what it is.
Yeah, man. Just to kind of close it out, definitely appreciate you, brother. Yeah. We had our when this whole situation happened and we heard about Herman Cowboy Douglas. Obviously, people start talking and things like that. But to be able to sit with you twice, face to face, look you in the eye, ask you questions, and get the answers back, you get a whole different perspective and an appreciation for what you meant to Nip and what you did. Because also that wasn't easy to do, even though you knew it was the right thing to do. It couldn't have been easy. And then you sitting out there on the front line after doing that. Man, just commend you dearly for the work that you did for Nip, the work that you continue to do, brother. And we definitely appreciate you, man, for sure.
All right, appreciate you too, bro. And the marathon continues. We're gonna run some extra laps.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Definitely appreciate you, man. Always welcome on the platform. And what was the name of your podcast? Did you come up with a name yet?
It's gonna be Talk or Take a Fade. That's gonna be the name of it. So I'm gonna send some invites. You can talk about it, or you could take a fade, or we could take a fade and talk about it, or you can just pull up and just take the fade. Either way it go. If you want to just talk about it, we just pull up and talk like grown men. If you got an issue with me, let's talk about it. You know, if you feel that strongly about it, we go in the back, put the gloves on, take the fade. But you know, we can keep it fair. You know what I mean? Just keep my name out your mouth. If you're talking about me, talking this shit, just come talk about it. Come talk about it, or keep my name out your mouth. You know, or take the fade. You know, I don't like talking. You know, I've been doing too much talking. When this shit is over, you know, I could shut down Facebooks, Instagrams, and all that shit. It's no big deal. I never looking for the limelight. You know, I was cool with Nip going around the world. I was cool in the background. You know, I put my cowboy hat on. Nobody knew who I was. You know what I mean? I could just go anywhere. You know, I wasn't in it for all this. You know what I mean? I was in it to show the world that my little bro, you know, he could do it. You know what I mean? They didn't think we could do it. You know, we showed them we could do it. You know, and that's just, you know, it's still going. So, you know, it's just sad. Like I went to BET and I know bro was supposed to be there, you know.
Yeah.
And that's what hurt me. And I know bro was supposed to be here with us, you know. So it's sad that some old sucker ass nigga took him out like that. Yeah, I'll never get over it.
Nah, neither will we from the outside looking in, man. We all love Nip, and condolences to you, his family, the closest ones to him. You guys allow his legacy to live on, brother. So we definitely appreciate you. And make sure you got the motherfucking cameras rolling on that podcast. Just don't do an audio version, because if they come in to squabble, nigga, that's going viral. So make sure you, you got that shit on deck, bro. We appreciate you, brother.
Yeah, I've been setting up a little space up here in this little room I'm at now with a lot of shit I got going on.
Dope.
There you go. You're in the right spot for us. A lot of people out that way. So if you need any pointers, hit us up, man. If you need any pointers on, what to get, what to do, reach out to us. We'll definitely help.
Yes, sir. All right, I appreciate you guys. I tapped in with y'all. I appreciate like I said, I've seen so much negative stuff. I appreciate y'all keeping it real out there.
No doubt. We do, always will, brother. We appreciate you. Cowboy, Herman Cowboy Douglas on the Hip Hop Uncensored podcast. Much love to you, brother. Salute.
Much love, bro. Marathon continues. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.